Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over a story titled, Am I the A-hole for not looking after a kid anymore? Now guys, the title of this article is a little misleading because when you first hear it, you think the guy is asking the question, is he being the a-hole for not looking after his own kid? But that's not the case. This is a situation about somebody else's kid, okay? And guys, this story is a perfect example of the saying, no good deed goes unpunished. Because what we have here is this is about a guy who is living in his apartment, and a woman moves in next to him. She's young, like 24 years old, with a little kid, probably about 4 years old, preschool age. So she probably had the kid when she was 20 years old, so obviously very young. And he could really see very quickly that something was off. She was obviously struggling. There was no guy around to take care of the kid. The police were coming by rather often to check up on her. The kid seemed very timid, like he had dealt with a lot of turmoil in his young life. A lot of things. And oftentimes the kid was unsupervised. And so this guy basically, out of the kindness of his heart, tries to start helping her out. And you're going to see later on how she repays his kindness in the worst possible way. And I got to tell you guys, it's really sad that with the way the world is and how it's just there's some really ugly people out there, you know? And, you know, guys, I always tell you to be careful when you have some of those urges to be the white knight. You know, movies and television, you know, demonstrate guys being the white knight heroes to people that need help, in particular women. And of course, they're celebrated for it and get the most respect for it. But sadly, how many times have guys been trying to be the good guy, the white knight, so to speak, and it blows up in their face, or they're treated with disrespect, or just completely kicked to the curb after doing these nice, kind gestures to help someone out, but in this particular case, a woman. So I tell you guys, don't be the white knight. As much as maybe you were raised to be a good guy to help people in need, I certainly was. You got to learn, unfortunately, in today's, and in the world in general, because of human nature, the ugly side of human nature, but also in today's world where it seems like people are more selfish and self-centered than ever, you can't do that. So I'm going to go through this story, guys. You're going to see I'm talking about here, and I'll chime in my 2 cents here and there. So it starts off, I used to live in a shitty apartment building. I had a neighbor right next to me called Sarah, who had a 6-year-old son named Mark. Oh, 6-year-old son. So it says here he's 27 and she's 24. So she had Mark, the kid, at 18 years old. I had lived there for 3 years and moved out 2 months ago. My grandfather passed away and left most of his money/possessions to me and my sisters. It wasn't much after taxes, but I was able to use it as a deposit on my apartment. Sarah and her son moved in about 4 to 5 months after I did, and although she didn't talk about it, I got the feeling that the ex hadn't been the greatest, and he says the police would come around occasionally to check on her, and see if she was okay, and the kid was scared stiff of loud noises and yelling. So there's no guy in the picture. She's 24 years old with a 6-year-old kid. Sounds like the baby daddy is a Chad or Tyrone. To no surprise, Chad and Tyrone isn't there, living there to help take care of the kid, pay child support and all that, and the police come around regularly. What does that say about the situation? All this stuff should be a sign that the guy does not get involved. Because unfortunately, people like that in that situation, when the police are coming around a lot or social services are coming around a lot, there's going to be a lot of trouble. There's going to be a lot of turmoil. And you should not involve yourself. Unfortunately, this guy gets involved. He says, I work from home. I'm a data analyst, so I was around a lot. Mark used to go to preschool while she worked, and then after he started school, he was supposed to go in after school child minding thing. He says here that Sarah works 10 to 8 p.m. as a nurse's aide. The problem is that back in March of last year, his after-school thing closed, and then a couple months later, his school shifted to online learning, while his mom got busier because of the virus. So last March, when COVID took the world by storm and everybody was shutting down, the kids' school got shut down, the after-school shut down, so the kid's home alone, but the mom's got to work. It's a tough situation. Regardless of who she is, that's a tough situation. It's been a tough situation for lots of parents. I know here in the States, they got to do their job, but also they got the kids to deal with. He says here, I kept seeing him playing outside by the road or hanging out off the balcony and was a bit concerned for his safety, so I started offering him hot chocolate and keeping an eye on him. So if the kid is 6 years old and is home alone and he's hanging off the balcony or playing by the road, I mean, that's the type of crap that gets social services involved if they're not involved already. And if the child is seen to be in danger, oftentimes in situations like that, that's when the state gets involved and usually puts the child in foster care. So whether she wanted that to happen or not, who the hell knows here? But, the kid has no supervision, 6 years old, and he's hanging off the balcony. I mean, I get, because I'm not totally heartless. I get she's struggling. I get that. But that kid's got to be supervised. What would you do if the kid fell off the balcony? And her ass would be brought up on charges if something happened to that kid. But this guy, again, out of the kindness of his heart, he feels bad for the kids getting involved. And you're going to see, once again, the white knight thing doesn't work. He says, about a week later, Sarah came by and offered me $20. She was very apologetic and explained that her parents disowned her. There's another red flag. And she couldn't afford a full-time nanny for him, but also couldn't afford to quit her job to keep an eye on him, which was basically her only other option. And this is where the Mr. Nice Guy comes in. My older sister is a nurse, and I'd seen her looking shattered with bruises on her face from the masks, so I felt really bad for them, and offered to keep an eye on Mark while she worked since I was at home anyway, and he's a cool kid. That's a big thing this guy is willing to do. He's doing his own job. He's going to watch her kid every day. You would think that she would pretty much be doing anything to show her appreciation for such a kind gesture. And it is a kind gesture. This situation makes me think. Well, I'll get back to what I'm thinking here in a second here. Long story short, I told Sarah in October that I was moving out, and she was distraught about what she'd do with Mark. And he says the schools and the child care still hadn't reopened here yet. I offered her to drop him off at my new place while she was working as a temporary solution during the virus. This guy is really going the extra mile here. He's moving out, and she was upset. Okay, you can drop him off at my place. Good Lord. This had been working for the last couple months until I received a letter from a lawyer basically informing me that Sarah was filing for child support against me, as I had taken on a paternal figure in Mark's life. I immediately called Sarah and told her to come and get Mark. We had a massive fight because basically she thinks I can afford it, so why shouldn't I pay it? Holy crap. This guy's been watching this kid for months, obviously not asking anything in return, trying to help her out. He moves away, and next thing you know, he gets a letter from a lawyer, and she's suing him for child support and for financial resources to help take care of the kid because this guy, oh, well, you got the monies and you've been watching him, so therefore you should pay up. You got to be kidding me. What did I tell you about no good deed going unpunished and the whole white knight thing? She's out of her damn mind. Well, she's not out of her damn mind. This was probably planned. It's a wonder that she's in the situation that well, let me rephrase it. It's not a wonder, but no surprise that the parents disowned her. All these red flags have been coming up. Guys, you got to pay attention to the red flags. And guys, you can't be the white knight. It's unfortunate, but look at what happened here. He says here, after she picked him up, I blocked her number and contacted a lawyer who told me I would probably be fine as I'm not his dad, and never offered to take care of him in any financial way. Sarah has been in touch with my sisters. She's got some nerve. Who think I'm doing the right thing, not paying, but I'm being a dick by refusing to look after Mark anymore. You're damn right he's not going to look after the kid anymore after she tried to sue him for money and child support. What are they thinking? I mean, right here, they don't blame him about the money thing. It's not his responsibility. This isn't his kid. He was just offering to help out, nothing more. He says, I feel like shit because he's probably back at being stuck in those shitty apartment blocks again, but I also don't want to risk a court case. Am I the a-hole for refusing to look after him while she works? No, it's not your responsibility. It never was your responsibility. This guy, again, is trying to help her out, and this is how she shows her thanks. You gotta be freaking kidding me. But this guy, he's obviously a classic nice guy, and he also has a white knight syndrome, and his sisters have actually got him thinking that he's the bad guy because he refuses to look after this kid after she pulled that stunt with the lawyer. No way. I mean, literally, this makes me. This is the shit that goes on in today's world. It's really unfortunate. I mean, this makes me think of the movie The Karate Kid. And I'm sure most of you guys have seen The Karate Kid, not the one with Will Smith's kid, which was not karate, it was kung fu, I might add, but the original Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san. You all know that Daniel-san was getting bullied and beat up. His family was poor, it was just his mom and him, and Mr. Miyagi takes him in and trains him to defend himself, and he gives him a free car on his birthday, and he goes off to win the tournament against the Cobra Kais. And this would be literally like, if this was today's world, after Daniel-san kicked Johnny with the crane kick on his face, then his mom would sue Mr. Miyagi for financial resources because after he did all this stuff for Daniel-san. That would be a movie based on today's world. You gotta be shitting me. No, it's not this guy's responsibility. What this guy needs to do is never be in contact with her again. And he can certainly feel bad for the kid, but to be perfectly honest, she can't take care of this kid, okay? And you know, looking at it from an outside source, you know, this kid is in danger if he's being left alone or playing on the balcony and could fall off or being played in the street. And I know the state obviously wants to keep families together, but if she can't take care of the kid and be there for him or provide a reliable sitter like her family or something, that kid is inevitably either going to get hurt or go into foster care. So, you know, but I would not advise this guy to have any contact with this woman at all. It is not, he did everything he could, and look what happened. At all. So guys, if you're ever in a situation, not like this, but in a situation where you feel you got to be the white knight, to be the good guy, be careful what you do, because that can come back to bite you in the ass. Now I'm going to read a few comments from this story just to show you I'm not the only one who thinks this. And the first comment, guy says, he had a little update here. He said, thank you all for the lovely messages. I can't see some of them because of Reddit errors keeps popping up, blah, blah, blah. I said this a few times in the comments, but we'll put it here too. After what has happened, I have contacted Child Services. Aha. I haven't had an update from them, but I will post here if I hear anything. So yeah, I mean, obviously that kid could be in danger, but that's what I would pretty much tell the guy to do, not to be vindictive, even though he'd have every right to be because of what she pulled. But that kid could be in danger and get hurt. And a few quotes from some people that commented on this. One guy says, no matter the reason her parents disowned her, the kid's the victim. This guy took the time out of his day to make sure this child is okay and isn't going to die or get hurt, and she accepted his generosity. And when that wasn't enough for her, even though she was probably saving a good amount by not paying, that wasn't enough. So now she wants more money. That's even more sickening. He did a nice thing for a struggling neighbor. And she tried to make him pay for this kindness. That's effed up. And the original poster is definitely, I can't read what he's saying here. I feel sorry for the kid and the original poster. Exactly, that's what I think. Another person says, talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Any struggles she or her son had moving forward are entirely on her. The original poster needs to run as far away from this loon as possible. And maybe even cut off his sisters, as they're seriously trying to guilt him for avoiding a person that was literally trying to scam him. Since they're feeling so generous, the original poster sisters can go ahead and share their bank accounts and details with the poor princess. You know, it's amazing how even though this guy was doing this nice thing for this girl and that kid, and it's not the kid's fault. The kid's probably a good boy, you know, just doesn't have anybody. The sisters, in a way, still were on her side in a sense, you know? Oh, you should look after the kid anyway. Because if he kept doing that, that could get him on the hook after that whole song and dance with the letter from the lawyer. And the last comment, the guy says, the court favors what is best for the child. Yep. But they don't make random demands of people to support other people's children. Under what circumstances is there a claim to financial care from a babysitter? That's all he is, literally. He's never lived with them. They never dated. He didn't adopt the child. If the court set precedent for child care workers to be charged with child support, workers would flee the field and friend support would crumble. Even if the original poster isn't paid, that doesn't mean he has volunteered a sort of financial support, as again, goodbye to single siblings watching your kid. There's no obligation from the original poster. Yeah, exactly. I'd like to know what lawyer she convinced to write this letter to this guy, you know, because the lawyer ought to know that this guy will not be responsible, but maybe she was giving him head or something. Who the hell knows? But regardless, the lesson of the story is, guys, sadly in today's world, don't be that white knight. Don't be Mr. Nice Guy. Really think about a situation before you want to get involved and help somebody out, because it come back to bite you in the ass. But there are lots of red flags there. She was by herself. Police were always coming by to check on her. No guy in the picture. The kid seemed off. Then he found out that she'd been disowned by her family. You put these things together here, it tells you something. And I guarantee you, a girl like that, and I'm sure her baby daddy is definitely a Chad or Tyrone type, I guarantee in a heartbeat she would run back to that guy in a heartbeat. Guaranteed. Or the next guy that she's involved with will be just like that. So for me, I reach a point in my life, in my early 40s here, that I don't feel bad for people like that anymore. Because a lot of times, she was obviously young when she had the kid, fine. Everybody messes up when they're younger. But you don't feel bad for her anymore when she pulled a stunt like this. But you know how it works. Everybody would feel bad for her and blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. 24 years old. You're enough of an adult. You don't do that to somebody that's doing nice things for you. No sympathy there. So, anyhow, guys, thought that was a good story to share. So that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and know what you think about this. Guys, let me know in the comment section if you've ever been in a situation where you yourself or somebody you know tried to be the white knight, try to be the hero to help somebody out. Doesn't always have to be a woman. And how did it backfire? Share your stories. Plenty of people read the comments here, and it can help somebody out. That's always my goal. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.